All right, let's continue on with this build. And what we're going to do now is we're going to finish up this side and then start putting the hoses back on. After I'm done with that, this side, I've got to move on to a couple other things for a little while. So I'll get these two outriggers painted, or yeah, outriggers, and I'll get this frame piece painted here and all these hoses. So I've got this hose here and these two here, the metal lines. And I've got this metal line here and this thing here, which is, if you watched the last video, this is the pressure. It won't allow anything to work unless the outriggers have pressure, so that's what this piece is. So I've got to disassemble this, paint these lines here, and what's that? Oh, it has a little drawing on it. I got to figure out how to get these to work. I think that these, I'm not sure why they have a one here. It's kind of weird that they have one there. But they have all these in these little valves and none of them work. So I've got to see if I can get those to come loose. Maybe I can heat them up a little bit. I don't want to, there might be O-rings inside there, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that yet. So anyway, but it's kind of rusty. As long as it works, it doesn't matter. I don't even know if I need these to work. This is like, I think you can release the pressure with this. Like you could take this brake light switch off and then tighten this up first. Take that switch off. Maybe that's so that you can isolate that. So it doesn't have pressure, so you can turn this, tighten this up, and then you can take that off to service it. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, but somebody mentioned something pretty cool. Let's talk about it. So somebody said why what this has, and it made sense. So apparently, when that light's on, that means it's the controls are all available to use, and maybe that's when the outriggers are all down. Then it's saying it's okay to use it. That is a key, so you can start the engine for the lift to down there. That's what I thought it would be. And I think what they have is, remember, there's only 3 controls. So you have outriggers, say, I don't know which one's which, outriggers, and then you have left and right, or clockwise, counterclockwise, and then up and down. So, but there's 2 more buttons. And what he said is, I think this is right, and maybe you can comment again, make sure that I'm explaining this correct, is you hold that button down and then all 3 of these will operate. I don't know which button is which, but I'm thinking that first one, because the light's there, you hold that one down so that you can use, while you're holding that one, then you can let the outriggers go down. And while you're holding that one, once the outriggers are all down, then you can hold that down and this down button would work. And I believe that one would be the up one. So you hold that one down up there, and then those 3 will work while you're holding it. Now the reason that they have that kind of thing is my other machines have that too. My other one has something called control on. My other one has a joystick, which is even different. But most of the lifts I have one button that you hold to make sure that you don't just accidentally bump one of the buttons or lean against it or something like that and have it work. So it takes 2 hands to operate it. So I think that's what it's supposed to be, and that's what that other set of buttons is for. And we'll find out later as we build this thing. And I just thought that we'd bring that up early in the video so you guys can kind of check that out. All right, there you go. rust converter. Can't do anything else today. Wouldn't be sandblasting today for sure. But at least I can get this done. I like to take it off with the stripper first, and then it comes off pretty easy. This is, I don't know, some people say that you could sandblast this off easier. I mean, I've done a lot of sandblasting when I was younger. We had a huge sandblaster in the shop, and I did tons of engine tin. I used to put it in there. We had a nozzle. The hole in the nozzle was this big around, about an inch, and we had a 10 horsepower compressor. I don't have any of that stuff here. I only got 5 horsepower, 60 gallon, and we had a 5 horsepower 60 gallon, and it would take forever to sandblast engine tin with 2 coats of paint on it. This has like 10 or 12 coats. So really the easiest way is to strip it first and do the other. A sandblaster would probably just bounce off of it, unless you had one of those trailer compressors and a really big sandblaster that they use to clean the roads off, then that would do it. Otherwise it would probably not work very well, any better than what I'm doing. And it'd be a ton of sand everywhere, just big mess that I don't want to deal with. Already got enough mess. Yeah, that 10 horsepower compressor was really something. As soon as you turned it on, all the lights would dim. It was a 3-phase. All the lights would dim, and then it would come on. And it worked great, but that was only taking a couple coats off tin. And it still took me a long time to sandblast a set of tin, engine tin. It took me about, 5 minutes a piece, and there's a lot less paint on there than there is on here, just so you know. All right, so here's what I'm thinking I might do on this. And I don't know if these are going to be working here, these relays, or I guess they're relays. What's going on here? Let me get this out. All right, so these are, I want to say they're relays. It's just they're really kind of primitive. And everything's 6-volt, right? So these coils would be designed for a 6-volt pole. I don't know, maybe it would work on 12, but I don't know how well these are going to work. I mean, there's bent points. There's all this stuff here. Let me see if I can get you guys in the right place. There's bent points. There's all this stuff here. I don't have the buttons for this. And here's what I was thinking. Let's see what you guys think. I'll let you guys comment on this. You know, this is future. This is not going to happen right now, but it's just kind of thinking about it. So what they did is they had those buttons at the top would trigger these relays, and just an electromagnet with points, right? And you pulls down, and they're kind of, it'd take a bit of work to make those things work again, but they could probably work. Electromagnet with points, and then what they do is those operate the solenoids over there, which are 6 volt. So they operate these, and I think these are designed for 6 volt. So this is what I was thinking. I did make the single cab 12 volt, partly because of reliability, partly because, you know, parts are more available for that. Kind of expensive for 6 volt, you know, turn signal stuff and stuff like that. If mine weren't any good, which they probably wouldn't be. But what I could do is I could put in, since this is bad, rather than try and make this replicated exactly the same, make a piece of, say, aluminum that goes over this, and I could make it so it clips on these 4 clips or whatever. I could put some clips on there to make it do that, and put large round like aluminum buttons that are waterproof on it. So I put all the buttons on here, and then make a relay, a 12 volt relay rack on here, so all the relays would be 12 volt. And then what I'll do is put an inverter on to have 6 volts on the load side of the relay. So on the line side where you push this button or the button up there, either one, you push the button and it makes the relay click, right? That'll be 12 volt. And then I'll put either a resistor or whatever on the other side of the relay, on the load side, and have that give 6 volts to those things over there. So I don't know if you guys can follow me on that, kind of get it, but that's what I was thinking would be cool. I'd just make a aluminum plate here with buttons on it, and then maybe put a little rack of relays behind that, and each one of these, or the buttons up there, which I think I can save that one. Again, like I said, I'm thinking ahead, not going to do this right now, but if I got, say, those to work, that would look original, be kind of cool. So I have this panel here, and I think this is the one for up there because it has the light. Okay, so I have this one for up there. Maybe I could make these little button covers. They're just rubber, and then these are the buttons here. Let's look at on the other side. It's pretty bad shape. I don't know how I'm going to restore this. Or the other option is, if somebody knows, if maybe one of you guys has a printer for a, what do they call, 3D printer, you could scan this and then make all these parts here and make another one, you know, scan it and kind of clean it up because it's cracked. See here, it's cracked and stuff. I could probably make this thing work, you know, use a lot of J&B weld and stuff on it, just coat the whole outside with J&B weld, sand it, and that would probably work. Sand it down a bit, covered it with J&B weld, put it back into shape. Maybe I'll just do that. You know, if you've ever fixed stuff like this, this is really fragile though. But if I coated it with J&B weld, it would be pretty strong, you know, from there. So that's what I'm thinking. You know, it's just an idea. So I don't know what this one is. I cover that? Is that part of it? I don't know. So again, those are just like momentary switches. Okay, and I was thinking, get an aluminum panel, make an aluminum panel, and then put momentary switches on it for down here, and have both of those circuits operate relay, a rack of 6 relays. And then I'm not sure. And I think somebody commented again that this is one of these is you hold one of the buttons down and then you can operate the other ones. So that's like a control on. So one of these would be control on, let's say this one, and then while you're holding this one down, this one and this one, or this one will operate. Or you could maybe even operate all of them at the same time. And or this one here would is for down or whatever, up or down or left and right, whatever. And you hold this down while you operate those. It's kind of weird. So like I'm gonna go find out from my buddy who has one of these how his works to get the specifics on which button is supposed to do what. But that's kind of what I was thinking about. Just kick that around, you know, see what you think about putting the relays in and then running 6 volts to the load side and 12 volts to the other side, and have everything working on 12 volts so it'll be more reliable. You'll push the buttons and they'll work every time versus 6 volt. You might have to wiggle it, you know, if you get a little bit bad connection and 6 volt it starts to not work. So it's a little easier to make 12 volts work all the time. Then on the load side again, run that all 12 volt. So that's what I was thinking. And then I can have everything inside the truck 12 volt. So everything will be 12 volt. And there's nothing there that will matter. There's just like the 4-way flashers and the lights and stuff, which I've got lights for this thing that I want to run 12 volt. So, and I could change that bulb up there to 12 volt. So I think it would work just fine. Anyway, but that would eliminate having to try and fix this thing, because I honestly, I don't know. And yeah, it would be nice if it was all original, but I could put a cover on here. Like I think it had a cover that went over this, and like some sort of a cover, and then make it look original. Then you wouldn't know. So anyway, because that's one of the reasons I'm fixing all the hydraulic lines. You know, somebody suggested replacing, you know, a lot of this was straight tubing, and then using rubber hose for all the turns and bends. The only thing, I just don't want it to look, you know, hodgepodgey. I want it to look original. So that's why I'm gonna just braze them, and I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll last for a long time like that. Just for fun, I bought this for my work, and I painted all the clear base on all this stuff with that. I used the minigun and it keeps up. It actually, the minigun, it won't even, you can't run out of air with that little thing. And then with the regular HTE gun, I think you could probably even paint a car with that thing. That's only 1.5 horsepower. Listen how quiet it is. How quick it picks up the pressure. It's only 2.6 CFM, but what is it at? That's at 90. So at 60, it's more than that. I mean, that's at 90. So at 40, it has another rating that's actually enough to probably paint a car. You could not, I'm not saying you could get a really perfect no orange peel paint job, but not bad. So these are all done here. I've just got to do those lines there. I was going to try and get all this all done and assembled in this video, and man, I've got work to come in right now, so I'll probably just do the rest of this off camera. It's just like I got those 2 lines to do. I got that box. I'm gonna have to sort that out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll put another video up, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna sort that out. I gotta drill it out and stuff. Gotta drill these out on this valve so that it'll bolt on there. Believe it or not, I got this to turn. I can't do it right now with one hand. It's a little bit harder than that, but I got this thing to turn, so I don't know. Maybe it works. Honestly, I think these valves are to shut off so that you can take that off and not have fluid leaking out, you know, for servicing. We got these painted. I can't move them right now, but I want to get those assembled. I actually have to work this weekend a little bit. And the reason I haven't got that many videos out, if you guys were wondering, I know some people were wondering, is because I've had my grandson Thomas like a lot of days to watch because my daughter's got, you know, she works at a warehouse that's supplies a lot of Christmas stuff, so they're going 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So she's been working a lot, so she doesn't have anybody to watch them because the I don't know, there's some stuff going down, but anyway, I really like to clean up all this stuff right now, but I have to just kind of just hustle through it because I got no time. If I just clean up, then I won't get anything done, get nothing. It's either one or the other, so I've got to just push through it right now until I get a minute, and then I'll start cleaning up everything again, get it all back organized. I just haven't been able to stop to do that stuff lately, so it's the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, that's it. At least we got this much done. Got some candy canes there, Christmas candy canes, so we'll put those back on, and maybe I'll do a little short video on that, and I'll put it all together. Then I'm going to stop on this for a little while. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this portion, and then we're going to stop on it for a little while. Oh, I got some if you guys are interested, maybe checking this out for me. I was looking for these, and I'll tell you what I was into. So apparently I went to like RUTHMANN because they're local, and to see if they had these, and they have, well, they can make me this hose like right here, this hose, $150 for one hose. I need 8 of them. I am not spending that kind of money on this thing, especially when I don't know. One of the reasons I don't want to rebuild those cylinders is I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what kind of a roadblock I'm ending up on these. So I want to have everything to work first, but I have to have hoses. There's just no way to, you know, a hose. If a hose goes out, it's catastrophic. I mean, everything falls to the ground. It's really bad. If a cylinder's leaking, it'll still operate. It'll just puke. Maybe it'll go down really slowly or something like that. And if these valves don't work, if I can't get them to work and I can't find anything to replace them, then, or, you know, and that's gonna, you know, that could be a nightmare. That could be very expensive if I had to put something alternative in here. So I don't know what's entailed on that yet. So again, I don't want to spend a ton of money on these, So here's where what I can get is this is a 12 millimeter. This is called a 12 millimeter compression, non-flared compression fitting. Okay, so if you guys want to check it out and see if you can help me find some, I need a 12 millimeter non-flared compression fitting adapter to 3/8 pipe, because then what I can do is I can go to, I don't have to go to one of those guys to have them make a hose. I can put an adapter on here, 12 millimeter compression to a 3/8 pipe. Okay, 3/8 NTP. I've been looking for one. They sell them at RUTHMANN, and I was like, oh dude, can you get me these? He's like, you know that trick? I go, yes. He goes, those are $30 a piece for the adapter there. And I'm like, really? I was looking online and I found some 12 millimeter to I don't know, something British pipe. I'm not sure. BP, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else knows hydraulic stuff. It went to British pipe, but I wanted to go to NTP, which is, you know, National Pipe Thread, because, and especially if it was female. So if I had a female end like this and a female end NTP, then I could just buy the generic 3/8 hose, which is like anywhere between this, like this hose right here. I could probably buy this for about $8, $10, $12, depends on where I go. And I could buy them at Tractor Supply. They're like 20 bucks there. So for $20 I could buy this hose, but I have to have the ends. So even if I bought them from them at 30 bucks a piece, which is a lot, that's $450 for how many I need. Even if I bought them from RUTHMANN, it's still half the price of the hose. So it's like 60 bucks. So it'd be about probably about $80 a piece for the hoses, which would be quite a bit less. I think it can be done for quite a bit less. My friend who has the other bucket truck, he's looking for hoses too. So if we can find the adapters online somewhere, 12 millimeter thread, okay, it's 12 millimeter pipe size, 18 millimeter threads on this end, and the other end would be NTP female. If we can find it, female would be the best, because then I don't have to buy another adapter to go from male to male. So which I could use a piece of pipe for that, but it looked kind of funky. I'd have an extra piece of little pipe in here, which I would do, but you know, if that's all we can find, all we can find. So if anybody has a connection on that, you can go to the Mike Effin Garage Facebook and put a link on there. I don't know. You can try to put a link on the comment. It might work. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I allow links, but sometimes YouTube doesn't. So I don't have control over that. So, but I definitely allow links, but YouTube sometimes rejects them for some reason. So if you can find that, that would be real helpful. That would be part of your homework if you're interested. Some of you guys are just sitting on the internet looking around and stuff. Maybe you just know where you can get them, because I know a lot of guys have done this stuff before. You know right where to call. Like I said, RUTHMANN has them. They have to order them, and 30 bucks a piece I thought was a bit steep. I was looking, I saw other ones that, you know, the ones to like British pipe were like $10 or $12. So that's quite a bit less. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Maybe you can help out with that. See you, like, share, and subscribe, and see your comments.